I knew a guy who got like severe cancer, and he was one of many people in his neighborhood because of runoff from a golf course. Because golf courses use so many pesticides and herbicides, and that this was getting into the water supply. And this guy has like a fake femur. He had bone cancer, so one of his femurs had to be replaced with like a rod. Yeah, heavy fucking shit. And Jamie, weren't you the one who was telling me about it?
Oh, yes. I'm reading a story on our favorite website, Snopes, that's actually true.
Whoa.
About a guy in the Navy who bit off a T, and it almost killed him in like 10 days or something, it says.
What?
He had an allergic reaction, though, I believe, to the pesticide or fungicide.
He died 10 days later after a toxic substance had burned the skin from 80% of his body and caused major organs to fail. The toxic substance was determined to be, how do you say that, daconil, an FDA-approved fungicide that had been sprayed on the Army-Navy golf course twice a week. Prior, apparently had a hypersensitivity to the chemical used in the fungicide, causing a severe allergic reaction. That's one, but what I'm hearing about is mouth cancers. And
from the teeth.
Yeah, so you're imagining they're spraying all these golf courses to keep them pristine and rolling nice, and then you put it in your mouth because you're like, you have your hands are free.
I mean, how many things are like that we don't even think about now? We don't even know about. Like, the Monsanto thing. What's the name of that? Roundup.
Yes.
The Roundup stuff. There's a lot of evidence that stuff causes cancer.
A lot of evidence.
And there's just a lot of places just like, we're just going to not.
In 300 meters, at the roundabout, continue straight onto Nuremberg Strasse, B2.
Air?
Well, not only that, have you seen the numbers when they look at people's urine and blood and they test how many people test positive for Roundup? It's extraordinary. Google that. What percentage of people that were tested found Roundup in their body? It's a very high number, and a lot of the shills were like, it's a minimal amount of parts per million. And the parts per million of something that kill you, that you're not making me comfortable. Because also, here we go.
In 200 meters, at the roundabout, continue straight to stay on Nuremberg Strasse, B2.
Okay, according to Center for Disease Control Prevention, found that 80% of Americans have glyphosate in their urine. Holy shit. The health consequences of the situation are unknown.
Oh my God.
Though many scientists insist glyphosate is linked to cancer and other health issues. Yeah.
And that's just to kill weeds. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Well, that's the byproduct of monocrop agriculture, which is also something that people need to understand how dangerous this is to the topsoil, how dangerous it is to environment, the runoff that gets into streams and rivers. And, we had Will Harris from White Oak Pastures on, who explained that in depth about how he came to an understanding of the dangers of this stuff and converted his industrialized farm to a regenerative farm. And it took 20 years to do it.
Oh my God.
It's very difficult, very time-consuming.
Yeah, there's a lot of money invested in keeping it the way it is.
But he was a guy that I actually had on the podcast because I saw him on Fox News. He was on this mainstream show, and they gave him 5 minutes, and the guy was trying to hurry him along. And Will talks in a very slow and deliberate manner.
Wow.
Where he picks his words carefully. Very interesting guy to talk to. Fascinating. Really intelligent human. And very... as amazing ethics and character, the way he decided to do this. So I talked to him for 3 hours.
Yeah, that's first of all, I'm happy that Fox actually had him on. That's surprising, because normally they take like the anti-environmentalist.
But they had him on a shit on Bill Gates.
Oh, I see.
Because Bill Gates is buying all the farmland. So they had him on like,
well, that's fucked up. I mean, he shouldn't. That's not good. I'm not for that.
No.
Yeah.
Well, the idea that he is this altruistic person that's only, doing these things because he's a philanthropist, that doesn't bite with the profits that he makes from these ventures, and there's incentives that are other than philanthropy.
Yeah, he had a phenomenal PR campaign for years, which portrayed him as like, he's the good billionaire, bro. He's just looking out for everybody.
Not only that, but it was funded. Like that PR campaign, when you find out how much money he donated to these major news organizations, those donations were sizable in the hundreds of millions of dollars, which is really wild.
I know. See, that's a big problem too. And this happened with Sam Bankman-Fried as well. There were a bunch of puff pieces written about Sam Bankman-Fried, and come to find out, he donated a lot of money to all these different sites. And that's the sort of conflict of interest shit, to come full circle back to what we were talking about before. That's the sort of conflict of interest shit that you're never going to get good, unbiased, fair, objective reporting from an outlet that's funded by, I mean, you see a Sunday show, they'll have a commercial for Lockheed Martin or something. You're like, Lockheed Martin?
Yeah.
And what's the impact of that? I mean, I remember I was reading a Politico article one time, and it said at the top, I think it was either funded by, or like, from Lockheed Martin or from Raytheon, and the article was about how, like, we needed to go to war with, I don't know if it was Syria or one of the other countries over there. It was like, yeah, we got to go to war.
Yeah.
Well, I'm more likely to take your opinion seriously if you don't have a financial interest vested in going to fucking war. Like, what are we talking about here? This is insane.
It's insane. But how does one take money out of those things? How does one take money out of the news?
Well, that's the thing. It's so hard. Yeah.
So hard.
I mean, so you could do public funding, sort of like PBS, but even PBS now it's not just purely public funding.
No,
that's one
they
way to
have
do
establishment narratives that they promote as well.
Of course.
Yeah.
And so,
they think they're doing the right thing by promoting those narratives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They definitely do. But I mean, the other way is small dollar donors. But again, it's almost like I got kind of lucky, and people who started when I started doing what I do, we got kind of lucky because it was.
In 600 meters, turn left onto the A9 slip road to U24, München.
Of a meritocratic algorithm in YouTube where, like, we got a little bit of popularity, we got enough of a following so that when they did, crack down, we're still, not as effective as we could be. I mean, there are some great YouTubers.
Turn left onto the A9 slip road.
This guy, Mac, good politic guy. He does great videos, and he just gets crushed by the algorithm. If he started when I started, he'd be as big as I am.
In 400 meters, merge onto A9.
But he didn't. He started like 2 years ago or whatever, and he gets no traction. And it's all because of YouTube. It's not because of him.
What's his channel?
Good politic guy.
Good politic guy.
Yes, that's his channel. Yeah, he's a good guy. We like Mac.
That's it's very unfortunate, and that brings up the possibility of an alternative platform that doesn't operate in those same algorithms. And I think
Continue for 44 kilometers.
One of the plans that Elon has for Twitter is to try to incentivize people to publish on Twitter. By
videos?
Yes. Videos, and by giving them a larger percentage of the ad revenue, and by not hindering them with this sort of complicated algorithm that only favors establishment.
I mean, it'll be interesting to see where that goes and how far he'll get, but like, he said originally, like, he was against shadow banning, and then at some point he said, freedom of speech is not freedom of reach, and we're gonna, like, not spread far and wide the stuff that he deems hateful. But then the question is, like, what is hateful, right? That's the question.
How do you do that?
How do you do that, And he's, he also, somebody asked him about, hey, you're gonna bring Alex Jones back on the platform, and he's like, no.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, well, I don't think we can rely on one single person to make these decisions. These are the sorts of things. My whole answer has always been regulate YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, all these big social media companies like their public utilities, and expand First Amendment protections. So then you actually have law backing up. That doesn't mean people could go on there and do direct threats of violence, because direct threats of violence are illegal, right? There's still going to be some things where you can't do that. But outside of that, yeah, I'd like to see it way more free, way more open. When it comes to YouTube, I'd love for them to go back to more of a meritocracy of the algorithm, where if you do good, it spreads far and wide.
Yeah.
And like I said, you may have some instances where a conspiracy video pops off, and that's going to suck. But at the same time, it's going to be messy, but that messiness is way better than having some overlords determine based
saying something that doesn't affect people who are discerning and intelligent.
Yeah.
Like we're infantilizing people.
Yes.
In a certain way. We're protecting them because you're not smart enough to recognize that this is nonsense. Or you're not diligent enough to look at the possibility that it's nonsense and look at the alternative perspectives and the arguments against it.
Yeah, and look, I mean, some percentage of the population, yes, they're gonna end up wherever they're gonna end up, and they're gonna go down some bad rabbit holes. But again, that's the price of freedom. The question is, how do we limit that as much as possible in an honest and open way?
Right.
That's the question.
And then there's the question of people that are manipulating these narratives on purpose in order to get people to argue with each other.
Yeah, well, I've heard you talk about that many times before.
Which is fascinating.
Well, you said the whole, what was it, the biggest Christian Facebook pages were not even
20 of the top Christian Facebook pages, 19 of them were run by troll farms.
That's amazing to me.
Wild.
Yeah.
But it makes sense, right? I mean, why wouldn't you do that? If you want to fuck with these people and rile them up and get them to lose their faith in democracy and faith in the system and faith in... That's how you do it. And then also get them upset about certain things and get them to act and get them to do things.
Yeah, see, and that's a harder... I don't know how to deal with that problem. Like, if I was running Twitter, I wouldn't know how to deal with the problem of, like total spam, you know what I mean? And people doing, like, what you're saying, like, this isn't even a real person, a real thing.
Yeah.
It's just, like, the whole point is trolling. Like, I don't know how to deal with that. You know what I mean?
I always look at a post now when I see people getting angry at things. I'm like, how many of these people are real people? And then you go to their page and you realize they have, like, 5 followers or 10 followers and all these posts. And all these posts are very specific to a narrative. And you got a very generic picture of this person.
left, where people will be like, I'm leftier than thou, and I'm more pure than thou, and I'm the only uncorrupted one in the conversation. And it's like, what are we even doing here? What is this?
Yeah, and they see people getting a certain amount of positive attention, so they decide to chip them down and attack them for their positions. It's really weird. There's so much that's involved in that. That's human emotions and incentives and why they do things and what do they really mean by what they're saying, and how many people are just objective and they have a healthy understanding of their own biases.
Yeah.
Why are they saying what they're saying?
Yeah.
It's a shit way to communicate.
Well, I mean, I don't even do it anymore. I told you this. It's, you know, you helped get me to this position. But, you know, back in the day, I think everybody goes through some point on Twitter where they engage and go back and forth.
Yeah.
And after a while, you're like,
you realize you feel like shit.
What the fuck am I doing? Yeah, I feel like shit. Why am I doing this? This is so stupid. Somebody's saying, you believe X. I know I don't believe X. But I'm arguing with you about what I believe?
Yeah.
What is that?
And it could be over nonsense.
Nothing.
It could be over nothing. Yeah. It's amazing how that affects people psychologically.
And it's a lot of people go through that. Even people, big names, well-known, they'll just be fighting on Twitter all day. And it's like, what are you doing?
And it could be about nothing. Like the other night in the green room, me and Tony Hinchcliffe were fucking with Brian Simpson. Because Brian Simpson is an Android user. And we're joking around about different things. I'm like, why do you like it so much? And he's explaining, it's customizable, all these things that make sense. And I go, do you have a flashlight, like right here? I go, watch this. I press a button, I got a flashlight. Can you do that? And he's like, well, I could have a widget and this. And I go, no, you don't have that. You don't have that. I go, do you have a button like that right there where your camera pops up? You don't have that, do you? And then he's like, oh. And then I took a picture of him. And then I posted it on Instagram. And I said, iPhone for life, Brian Simpson. And so immediately he was like, oh man, now the comments. I go, don't read them. So he starts reading them. And he's engrossed in the Android versus iPhone arguments in the comments. And I see him getting obsessed because he's pro-Android. So he's like ideologically attached to this idea that Android's a better platform. And so he's like immersed in these arguments. And so we were just joking about all night that he's going to be up till 4 o'clock in the morning reading comments about Android and iPhone.
He might be. It's weird because I like the freedom of being able to go on Twitter and these social media outlets and do whatever I want, but at the same time, I know...
There he is. Well, it's a blurry-ass picture, too. It's not even a good picture. Well, I took it, like, instantaneously as I just wanted to get... Because see the look at his face, like, you know?
Yeah. But, like, so the psychological effects of these online fights, it's got to be super negative, but, like, I don't want to ban the social media platforms, but I do know that we'd all be much happier if we didn't have them, but I believe in the freedom to go on them and use them, but it's like, but we're all fucked. I mean, I feel like that says a lot about the way the system works today, right? It's like, we all know certain things are terrible for us, but it's like, well, I do it.
How many people feel good after online arguments? That's a really good question.
Some people live for it. They live for the fucking, I'm gonna get in there. There is a certain personality trait. Don't you think there's a certain personality trait with some people where they're just shit stirrers, and that's how they get their kicks, right? And it's probably a minority, a tiny percentage of the population, but some people are all about it. And that's where they get their dopamine rush. That's where they get their little serotonin kick.
Ugh. Such a fucked up way to live.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is. Some weird social maladjustment issue from when you were a kid, probably.
Which is not designed to communicate in text. So much lost, so much context lost. You know, you don't know what the person's thinking and saying. You don't know who they are. You don't know what their life is like. You don't know what their incentive are to say things like that.
Yeah, that is an issue, right? Reading text and, like, just totally misinterpreting the tone of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Like, damn, this is a fucking drop.
down the beginning of the 12th round, he wound up winning the remainder of the round, and even had Deontay hurt at one point in time. I think that is what started it. But then in the second fight, where he overwhelmingly beat Deontay Wilder, Deontay came up with all these excuses, like he was wearing this thing, it was too heavy when he walked out, and his water got poisoned, and Tyson Fury was cheating. It was all this. It was terrible look from a great fighter, because he was, whether he had people in his ear or whether it just was unsophisticated in his analysis of what happened. But see if you can find the video where people were using this as an example, because if you look at it in slow motion, it looks like the glove, like if you, people were thinking, see how his hand is moving back like that? Yeah. But that's normal. That is absolutely normal. And they were saying that the gloves weren't actually attached, and that see how he was like punching him without hitting with the knuckle, that he was actually, the knuckles were where the wrists were. But it's not. It's just you're looking at something in slow motion, so it looks weird. And so the people that were, that thought about conspiracies too much, they thought that was what was going on. You see how his wrists are moving around? Please explain what is in Tyson Fury's gloves. They cheated, Bronze Bomber. But
I thought that first fight, I thought Deontay did win. I thought that Tyson Fury was down for the count. But the second fight, it wasn't even close.
Well, he didn't win because Tyson Fury got up, and whether the count
wasn't it a 10 count though?
The count was long, but it's not Tyson Fury's job to get up at the correct 10-second mark while he just got rocked and dropped. It's his job to listen to the referee when the referee says 8, 9, and then he gets up at 10. It might have already been 10, but he doesn't know that. So.
Yeah, but would a different ref have done it differently? Would a different
In 3 kilometers, use the right 2 lanes to take the exit towards A6.
That's it?
Possibly, yeah. Here's my take on it. It should have been a digital count, and that digital count should start. It should be very clear and obvious to everybody. It shouldn't be up to the referee to decide the pace of the count. Another example of that is Mike Tyson versus Buster Douglas. When Mike Tyson knocked down Buster Douglas, he knocked him down for more than 10 seconds.
No shit.
Yes.
The video has all 4 of them synced up.
And what does it say?
It just shows the knockdown.
Oh, see, boom. So Mike Tyson drops him, or excuse me, this is actually.
They got all 4. Yeah,
okay.
all 4.
So let's see. 8, 9, 10. Buster Douglas is down past 10, and then he gets up.
Oh.
See? And this was argued by Don King after. Let's see that again.
No shit.
Yeah. So let's see the Douglas one. So Tyson hits him, boom, down, and now you see the count: 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. He's out.
Wow.
Buster Douglas was out. He was out, but it's not his job to know how many seconds are going on.
Yeah.
It's his job to respond to the referee's count.
The lack of objectivity, I like your point about using the clock, because the lack of objectivity drives me crazy.
Yes.
I want to leave as little as possible up to subjective interpretation, And so when you get a call egregiously wrong, it's like...
In 800 meters, use the right 2 lanes to take the exit towards A6.
You gotta change the rules to make it so you don't.
Yes. I mean, they should have a digital count where where the whole audience can see, where when the guy goes down, 10 seconds.
Use the right 2 lanes to take the exit towards A6, then keep left.
9, 8, you should see it. Just like that. And that's the only way you should do it. You should never, because sometimes referees, you go, 1,
Yeah,
2,
weird
and then they'll extend the count.
Has there been any history
Keep left.
in fighting of like gambling issues and...
Yes.
And is it just old school or is it new also?
New. There's a big controversy in the UFC.
Continue for 1 kilometer.
Apparently.
No shit.
Yes. There's one of the coaches, this guy named James Krause, who's a new.
In 800 meters, keep right at the fork. Follow signs for Heilbronn, Messer.
Gambler, and he actually has a gambling, was it a Discord server, and one of his fighters, there's a lot of like late money that came in, like strong
Keep right at the fork.
money against this fighter, and the guy, it turns out, had an injury and threw a kick
continue on A6 for 78 kilometers.
Went down early in the fight and got stopped, and then he was suspended. The coach is suspended. No longer can that coach referee or can he train fighters. So anyone who's a UFC fighter who trains at his gym had to leave his gym. Yeah, and so it's a real big deal. So people were suspended, and then the UFC banned gambling for any of its athletes.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, look,
I think any of the trainers as well.
see, that's the interesting thing, because on the one hand, like, I'm in favor of gambling being legal. I mean, I don't think it should be illegal. But on the other hand, it's like you do introduce a whole new set of problems when it comes to sports, because now there's massive incentive to just let's fucking rig this up. I'll pay you $2 million to take the fall.
Yes.
You want that? That's life-changing money. You know what I mean? And then you have a whole other set of issues. It's hard. I don't know how you do it, and then you regulate it effectively where you don't have issues like that. You know, or is it just something that we're never going to get rid of? Right? Is it like, you know, like crime, where nobody can say, oh, let's abolish all crime? It's not possible. Right? You're always going to deal with some level of crime. Is it the same thing for cheating? Is there always going to be some level of cheating because of gambling?
I think there's going to be always like people that want to try it, but sunlight is the best disinfectant. To be able to see it and know what's going on, and then to penalize those people. But there's always been accusations of bad judging in boxing that's related to gambling, or related to money, related to bribes. I mean, it's been from the beginning of time. I mean, the mob has always been involved in organized boxing and telling people to take dives. It was always a thing.
Yeah. Speaking of fighters, I met Boss Rutan last night.
Yeah, he's the best.
And, you know, you said something a long time ago, and it really stuck out to me after meeting him. You said, like, fighters are the nicest fucking people.
Yeah.
Because there's no degree of insecurity.
Yes.
You know, they know they can fuck up anybody, and so they're just sweet.
Yeah.
And that's exactly all of us, myself, Corin, and Crystal, we were all talking about, that guy was so nice.
He's the nicest.
Such a nice guy.
He's the best. I love that guy. And he moved to Texas, too. He's a Texas guy.
Corin was saying he looked up his record. He didn't know much about me. He looked up his record when we got back to the hotel. He was like, we just met the fucking Michael Jordan of UFC.
Well, he's without doubt one of the all-time greats. I mean, I don't know if you'd call him Michael Jordan of the UFC. I think that you'd say that about John Jones, maybe. But he's without doubt one of the all-time greats. I mean, he was a UFC heavyweight champion. He was a king of pancrase. He fought in multiple organizations. Is universally respected. One of the first elite strikers to compete in MMA. Because in MMA, you had these guys that were like really good at one thing or another thing, but to have a guy like Bas who came over who had that Dutch kickboxing style, and it was like an intelligent animal. That's how he fought. Just like intelligent, marauding, berserking guy who just destroyed people. He was an amazing, amazing fighter. So
he did like the Tyson style blitzkrieging of his opponent.
He fucked a lot of people up, that's for sure. I mean, relentless power and just super hyper aggressive. Like the Dutch are known for this Muay Thai style, this kickboxing style, and they're some of the greatest fighters in kickboxing history have come out of Holland.
Now you put a guy like that up against a jiu-jitsu expert.
Well, Bas knows jiu-jitsu.
He knows jiu-jitsu too.
I mean, he submits guys too. Like the thing is, like Bas was one of the first guys to incorporate leg locks, and Bas is a very, very well-rounded fighter. I mean, he could do everything. But when you had to stand with him, you were in deep shit. He was just a really good striker.
So now, does everybody in the UFC know both?
Yeah.
Everybody does now?
Pretty much.
Wow.
You still have some specialists that are really good at stand-up, but their vulnerabilities on the ground. Like Alex Pereira, who's the UFC middleweight champion, is just an elite kickboxer who's learning grappling, but his grappling is not nearly as good as his striking. The problem is every fight starts standing up. And so when you're standing up with him, you're dealing with one of the most dangerous human beings on planet Earth. And so just trying to get him on the ground is so dangerous. You got to get close to him. You're going to get hit with a knee or a punch, and he's good at takedown defense. But he's not like an elite wrestler. He's not the most well-rounded fighter, but he's the UFC champion.
That's interesting, though, because then that sort of undermines the point a little bit that jiu-jitsu is the main thing.
That's not really
No?
No. I would say the main thing is to be well-rounded, and some guys are really good at just being a specialist. Like the guy he beat, Israel Adesanya, who was the middleweight champion at the time, is also a specialist. He's a specialist in kickboxing. So his specialty and Pereira's specialty were the same specialty. But Pereira is bigger, and he had
wins fights from being large.
Well, Bob Sapp most certainly won some fights from being large. It's not that he didn't have any skills. He certainly was skillful, but he was also 375 pounds with abs.
Just a mountain of a man.
Yeah, he was a walking pharmaceutical factory. and he was also fighting in pride.
Look at this.
But that's not him at his best, his most fit. You got to see him, Bob Sapp. Look at that. That's him at his most fit. Look at the fucking size of that guy. He was so big. I mean, he was just enormous and skillful. I mean, he wasn't the most skillful guy, but he was very skillful.
Go ahead.
But Mirko Krokop, who only weighed like 250 pounds, knocked him out in a kickboxing fight.
Wow.
He broke his eye socket with a straight left hand. Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Do you remember Kimbo Slice?
Sure.
Yeah, Kimbo, when I was in like high school, there were these huge like street fight videos of Kimbo.
Yeah,
Everybody would
backyard
Kimbo
fights.
fuck somebody up, bro. Let's watch this.
Those were crazy.
Yeah.
Those were crazy.
And then-
backyard fights.
And then he did the UFC for a little bit, right?
Yes.
Was he successful?
Yeah, he fought in The Ultimate Fighter. He did pretty well, but he was a guy that was really lacking in grappling.
Right.
And by the time he got to the UFC, he already had fucked up knees. It was hard for him to get better at grappling, and he wound up being a big fighter in this organization called Elite XC that they were doing for a while, until he fought a really good fighter. He fought this guy named Seth Petrozelli, and he was supposed to be fighting Ken Shamrock. It's kind of a funny situation. Shamrock apparently cut himself accidentally, like the day of the fight. Something happened.
Shit.
I forget what it was, but pulled out of the fight. And so they had to fight. Kimbo was the star. And so they had this guy, Seth Petrozelli, take Kimbo's place. And I found out
Ken
about
Shamrock's place.
Excuse me, take Ken Shamrock's place to fight Kimbo. I found out about it in the green room of the Punchline. I had just got off stage in Atlanta, and we were watching it on the screen, and I called it right away. I go, oh my God, Seth Petrozelli's gonna fuck him up. I'm like, this, and so it's a 6-second knockout. So it's me, and there's a video of me backstage going, Seth, this is a terrible fight for Kimbo Slice. Seth Petrozelli's gonna fuck him up, watch. And then Seth Petrozelli winds up knocking him out in 6 seconds. I'm like, I told you.
See, that shows the difference between somebody with a lot of knowledge about it versus somebody like me.
Slice. This is the last minute replacement. I gotta think Seth Petrozelli's gonna fuck him up. If I'm wrong, you'll never see this.
So here's
Motherfucker, by the way. Seth Petrozelli. Here we go.
this is the beginning of the fight.
Holy shit.
Yeah, so that was one of those things where I was like, oh, there's a difference between a backyard brawler and an elite MMA fighter. The difference is pretty stark.
Yeah, because I like me and my buddies, you watch those street fights, you're like, bro, nobody can beat this guy up. This guy's a monster.
Well, that's what it always looks like.
Real fighters.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's somebody who's just more highly trained, has better skill set.
Yeah, so he had a cut. So he sustained a cut from a headbutt during a light workout sometime within the last 24 hours. In an interview on CBS, Ken Shamrock said the cut required 6 stitches. He said, I was warming up, getting loose, and caught a head and didn't think much of it, so must have headbutted. Next thing I know, a couple of drops are dripping from my head. He said he went to CBS, went to look to hopefully glue it together or something, but it needed 6 stitches. We were trying to figure out a way to do this, but we came down here and the commission said